Jon, you are undefeated at Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia. I think for a variety of reasons, this one might be your toughest challenger yet. And that's not disrespecting anyone who challenged you previously. But I think the issue is this challenger's wheelhouse and your wheelhouse are pretty much one and the same.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jon McAdam. I am the host of the Stick to Wrestling podcast, and I challenge Jon Boucher to a round of Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia.
Jon, meet Jon. Jon, meet Jon.
Hello. Hello.
Happy fellow guy from Queens. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. It's good to hear your voice.
Good to hear from you, man. How's everything been?
Not bad, not bad.
All right. Are you a little bit surprised?
A little bit what, sir?
Surprised?
Are you a little bit surprised by your challenger?
Oh, yes. Very, very surprised. Very
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Shocked and surprised. Shocked, surprised, and scared.
I have kept the identities of his challengers from him every month until we actually record it. So, and as I said before we got you on, Jon, I think you're going to be Jon Boucher's toughest challenge yet because you guys have pretty much identical wheelhouses.
Oh, yeah.
Both from the Northeast, from the same time frame. So his strengths are your strengths and his weaknesses are your weaknesses. So this is going to be interesting. But Jon McAdam, for our listeners who are not as familiar with you as both Jon Boucher and I are, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a wrestling fan since 1976. I was pretty fanatical back in the day, going to the Boston Garden every single month starting the middle of 1981. Interest has tailed off a little bit over the past, 10, 15 years. The product's just different than it once was. But, I mean, I still like WWE or AEW on occasion. I have a question about this segment. How long have you been doing this?
This is your opponent number 5.
So, Jon, you're 4-0 coming in.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen by accident, right? Nah, you know what you're doing.
All right,
We'll see.
I'm trying to coax a little trash talking out of both these guys, but they're good friends, so I don't think
It's going to be tough.
I don't think it's going to work. All right, as I always do with every challenger, I'm going to go over the rules for both the challenger and for Jon Boucher. So here are the rules for Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia. Jon M. and Jon B. will both have 20 seconds to answer each question. I will ask Jon M. all 4 questions first, while Jon B. is in the isolation chamber we built in his tiny little home. Jon M. can ask for a hint for one of the first 3 questions. You must ask for the hint at the time the question is asked, and the 20-second timer will be stopped while I give the hint. You cannot ask for a hint for the 4th question. But if you do ask for a hint for one of the first 3 questions, Jon B. will automatically be given the same hint for the same question and be given a hint for the 4th question. The correct answer to each question is what's written on the actual game card. So this is the Seinfeld Moops rule. And just for everyone's information, the game was released in 1987. If both Jon M. and Jon B. answer the same number of questions correctly, there will be a bonus question for a tiebreaker. All right, Jon McAdam. Jon Boucher is now safely sequestered in the isolation chamber. Are you ready to play Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia?
I am ready. I'm feeling the pressure. I'm ready.
All right, question number 1. Which late manager who always wore sunglasses managed such wrestlers as Don Leo Jonathan?
Bobby Davis.
That is incorrect. The correct answer, the Grand Wizard.
But, I got confused. I am so bad at this. I was like, late manager. Oh, it's 87. He's not dead yet. Duh. Of course he is.
Yes, 83. 82 or 83, I believe. All right, question number 2. Which masked wrestler once posed with then President Jimmy Carter while Carter had him in a side headlock?
Mr. Wrestling 2.
That is correct. John McAdam has one question correct out of the first two. So let's move on to question number 3. Who managed at least 7 tag teams in the WWF?
Captain Lou Albano.
That is correct. 2 for 3. Time for the fourth and final question. This is a true-false question. True or false? Wrestler Choo Choo Spelnick miffed at the comments of TV commentator Gordon Solie, agreed to appear on TV with him only if the two sat back to back.
I will say that is true.
That is incorrect.
Oh, no.
That is, I don't quite understand that question myself, but that's what's written on the card. So, all right. 2 out of 4 questions answered correctly by Jon McAdam. Let us now signal for Jon Boucher to come out of the isolation chamber. Jon Boucher. Jon McAdam answered 2 questions out of 4 correctly, and he did not use a hint. So you will not be getting any hints for these questions. So are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready as I'm going to be. Out of the booth, ready as I'm going to be. Yep.
Okay. Question number 1. Which late manager who always wore sunglasses managed such wrestlers as Don Leo Jonathan?
Late manager who always wore sunglasses.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. I will go with the Grand Wizard.
That is correct.
Okay.
1 for 1. Question number 2. Which masked wrestler once posed with then President Jimmy Carter while Carter had him in a side headlock?
Mr. Wrestling 2.
That is correct. John B., you have tied John M. with 2 questions left.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Question number 3. Who managed at least 7 tag teams in the WWF?
Captain Lou Albano?
Captain Lou Albano is correct.
Captain Lewis Albano.
No, the card says Captain Lou Albano.
Captain Lou.
So
Okay,
you got
okay.
it exactly right. Jon Boucher, you have now defeated your opponent, but you have 1 question remaining. So the question is, John B., do you want to win via a flash roll-up, or do you want to knock him out and make him tap, make him submit by getting the 4th question right?
That sounds very cruel and borderline unusual punishment.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to just stick with this. That Don Leo one was a tricky one because you wouldn't think the Wiz.
It tripped up John McAdam. It's one of those, anyone who's listening to this is probably saying, how could you not get the Grand Wizard? It's not as easy as it seems till you're in these spots, and with only 1 wrestler given, of all the wrestlers the Grand Wizard managed, Don Leo is like not the most obscure one, but the one least associated with him.
Yeah.
Al, I'm going to wear that scar for the rest of my life because I knew that the Grand Wizard managed Don Leo Jonathan. I got tripped up, and this is crazy. I got tripped up when you said late manager, and you told me beforehand that the cards were printed in 1987. Now, I know the Grand Wizard died in 1983, right?
Yep.
So that kills me that I blew that question like that.
It's sometimes when it seems so obvious, you just sort of second guess yourself.
I outthought the whole thing. So
yeah, you worked yourself. The work was a shoot, and the shoot was a work, and you worked yourself into a shoot, brother.
Johnny B, congratulations. I actually took a look at this game back in 1987. It cost $29.99 plus $4 handling, which is $92.17 today. So I hope Gordon sold a lot of those.
Me too.
Yeah, well, John actually bought this for me off of eBay for another segment we do on the podcast. And I was so happy to receive it that I decided to come up with this fun little game about it. But I'm going to ask John B question number 4 just for posterity. See how he does. He can choose not to answer and let the time limit run out if he wants, because no matter what happens, he has won this month's edition. But question number 4 is a true or false question. So true or false? Wrestler Choo Choo Spelnick, miffed at the comments of TV commentator Gordon Solie, agreed to appear on TV with him only if the two sat back to back.
I'm going to go with false on that one.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's another one. It's such a weird question, and that name is so specific that even if you've never heard of Choo Choo Spelnick, you're like, that has to be true. Maybe that was some weird indie that Gordon worked or something.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I think most of these questions were not written by Gordon, but I have a feeling he wrote that one after a nightcap, perhaps. But there we go, Jon Boucher.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you guys
for having me on. It was fun.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you were able to challenge John. And don't take this the wrong way, but I'm also really glad that Jon Boucher won. I was nervous. I was nervous about this.
You're nervous.
You want the guy who's doing the podcast with you coming out the champion, 5-0.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you, John. Take care.